Have you been wondering about the differences between AWS CloudFormation and the AWS Cloud Development Kit, CDK? What are the differences? What are the pros and cons of each? Which one should I use? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about it. Hi, my name is Ryan with Cloudmancer, and I'm an AWS Certified Solutions Architect and Developer. And today we're going to talk about the AWS CDK versus CloudFormation, and I'll give you my personal opinion on which one you should use based on my personal experience working extensively with both services. Both of these services provide a way for you to manage your AWS cloud infrastructure with something called infrastructure as code. AWS CloudFormation is a service that helps you set up and model your AWS resources. You write template files in either JSON or YAML, nobody uses JSON, that describe your AWS resources and upload these templates to AWS using either the command line or the AWS console. These templates are then used to provision resources into your account for you. Some of the pros of AWS CloudFormation include more stability and maturity because the service has been around for longer, more widespread knowledge and community support, and it gives you direct and granular control over resource properties. Some of the cons of AWS CloudFormation are that it has a very steep learning curve for its template syntax. It's also a manual process for creating complex dependencies, and a lot of times you don't know if there's a problem with the resources you've deployed until you've deployed them. The AWS Cloud Development Kit, or CDK, is an open source software development framework to define cloud infrastructure as code and provision it through AWS CloudFormation. The syntax is written in familiar programming languages such as Python and TypeScript, and it's deployed via the command line CDK tool. Some of the pros of the AWS CDK are that you can use familiar programming languages, a much shorter development timeline through higher level abstraction, and a much smaller learning curve. Some of the cons of the AWS CDK are the additional layer of abstraction that we just talked about can make it a little bit more difficult to debug. It also does require you to have pretty good knowledge of whatever programming language that you're using to write the CDK syntax in. Now, when should you use each one? Well, with AWS CloudFormation, this is ideal for projects that require direct control over every aspect of cloud resources. Teams more comfortable with declarative programming or with existing CloudFormation templates, or for use in CI/CD pipelines outside of AWS that require AWS resources. On the other hand, the AWS CDK is ideal for developers familiar with object-oriented programming, if you need rapid development and iteration on cloud infrastructure, or for creating reusable cloud components and patterns. So which should you use? Honestly, you really should take the time to understand what you're trying to do. You should consider your project requirements, team skills, and development preferences when choosing between either CloudFormation or the CDK. In my personal opinion, after extensively using both, use the CDK whenever you can. The speed at which you can deploy and iterate on cloud infrastructure is mind-boggling compared to regular CloudFormation templates. However, there are still some niche use cases where I find it easier to use CloudFormation, like inside of a non-AWS CI/CD pipeline like GitLab. So which do you use? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know down in the comments, and also let me know if there's another video that you want to see. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks.